So most of my projects are waterfall, but companies are so focused on being agile, I have to use agile functionalities in domains. So I use Jira to do waterfall projects, which is very irritating because I'm not running sprints.
This video is being sponsored by FlexiSpot. Here is their C7 ergonomic office chair, and look at it. It's amazing. It's replacing my old office chairs. You can see it's old, fake leather, not comfortable, no lumbar support whatsoever like this new FlexiSpot seat. The packaging is nice. It comes all boxed together with all the packaging wrapped up tight. When I was putting it together, I could see that it's really quality material, and setup was not hard. I was able to get it assembled in a good amount of time. And yeah, so there are two options for this chair. You can get the foam or you can get the mesh one, which I chose in this video. And some of the things that it has in here is you have an adjustable headrest. You have arm trays that go up and down. You can go up and down the chair. You can lean all the way back. You have adaptive lumbar support to where it stays with you when you're sitting in the chair for when you work from home. If you want to grab your own C7 ergonomic office chair, use my promo code C730 to get $30 off your purchase today. The link will be in the description. What's a typical day like for you being a technical program manager that specializes in networks and data centers and everything else infrastructure related?
So a lot of meetings, a lot of meetings. Depending on the project, a lot of times, whether or not there are clear requirements for what is talked about, usually it is defining what we're actually working for. A lot of times companies say, hey, I want something done, but they have no clue what they need. They don't have anything. And usually, depending on how mature a company is, they may have business analysts to help with that front end project to figure out what the requirements is. But a lot of times the budget isn't there for that. So that usually the PM does that, meeting with sponsors, meeting with your stakeholders, trying to figure out exactly what they're pinpoint exactly what they're looking for and what they're trying to do. So, hey, what are the dates that you're looking to? What's in scope? What are the resources that we're going to need? So that usually starts off the beginning of the project, is trying to pinpoint exactly what we're needing to do. And so even if we're farther into the project and we're now building out what that looks like, what is different from a normal PM is whenever there are different tech documents that come out. Hey, this is the type of fiber that we need, or this is the type of cables. And I kind of could know based on just the knowledge of what I can kind of have those conversations with my engineers to say, hey, this is level one. This is, I can have those conversations based on, not based off of, what a typical program manager. Sometimes I don't know, and I'm fake it till I make it, right? But there's some things that I can pick up on where it's like, hey, we're about to cable in a 48 port switch, maybe that we need a 120, and I can have those conversations based off of just the requirements, so I don't have to lean on my engineers to ask a lot of dumb questions, because I know a lot of y'all engineers, y'all hate when we come and we ask a lot of dumb questions. So I can kind of be that filler to not have to go to them to say, hey, what's this technical question? But like I mentioned about program management, it's about being strategic. And, every company has something that they're trying to do for a project. A project is done for a reason. It's never done because, hey, we just didn't want to do this. It's always something. Are we saving money? Is it going to make
more money,
time faster, and all those things. It's all about doing those things. So when you don't have a person that has to rely on, hey, let me go ask this person, let me come back to you, and they can, they have the knowledge themselves to be able to have those conversations, it helps. And that's what being a TPM helps with. Or even like I just mentioned, where maybe we're building out, we're doing some refreshes. I do a lot of end of hardware, end of life projects. That's really a big bulk of being an infrastructure PM, is that end of life, migrations, all of those things. So when we start to have those conversations and it's, hey, we want this, this server is coming to the end of life. Do we want to put it in the cloud? Do we want to keep it on-prem? Hey, there's another server that's similar. Do we want to migrate all that data together and just have one big server? So having those conversations, I can start to ask the right questions with my engineers. Ooh. And so, that's what helps me with being a TPM.
So are there any type of applications or softwares that you use on a day-to-day that makes your job easier, or you would call them essential?
So right now, and this is something that I hate it, but it's something I have to use because it's just the protocol in my company. I use Jira. So Jira is what we usually use in a agile methodology. So the two prime methodologies in project management for managing a project is waterfall and agile. And so the difference of waterfall and agile, waterfall is from start to finish. If I was to build you a car and you say, hey, I want a car, this is what I want the car to look like, you give me the order and I make it, and then I hand you over a car, right? And with agile is taking every single part of the car and breaking it down. So it is, hey, I want a car. Okay, what do you want the steering wheel to look like? Okay, I want the steering wheel to have leather and red trim. All right, and then we're going to go do a sprint for 2 weeks, and we're going to work on it. And then I'm going to give it back to you and say, is this what you want? Okay, yeah. All right. So that goes, and then we take something else that's out, in the backlog, and we say, what's another feature that you want? Okay. Car paint. Do you want blue? Do you want, and then so there's a 2 week, the sprints that you do with that. So agile is doing the iterations, going step by step, and, you're going through that and, working with a customer to get a project done. With waterfalls, you give me the order and I give it back to you, what you give me. And so in infrastructure, because of the nature of infrastructure, servers, networking, there's no agile in that, right? You can't, I can't give you a server and be like, okay, do you want these cables here? Or do you can't do that. So most of my projects are waterfall, but companies are so focused on being agile, I have to use agile functionalities in domains. So I use Jira to do waterfall projects, which is very irritating because I'm not running sprints. So, right. Jira is one of the main ones that I use. My company, previous companies that we use Microsoft Project, which was big and huge, but my company, we don't have a specific project scheduler that we use. So I use Smart Sheets. Excel, as basic as Excel is, it is a lifesaver, really for pinpointing those things and breaking down the different tasks that are associated with each of the project, and then just really leveraging that. I like to go real old school and use pen and paper to really task out things. It really helps.
If you remember.
Yeah, it really does. And it helps to just get things and navigate things in like a whiteboard. So those are really the main things. Jira, Smart Sheets, those are really the prime ones that I use. Even I've worked in companies that use ServiceNow, which I hate to use ServiceNow as a project management platform. But yeah.
Funny enough that you said something about 2 week sprints. When I was at JP Morgan, my role was like, I pretty much was kind of tasked of being like a product manager of this product that they want to push out within my team. And then I also did a lot of assurance type of work. We worked on firewall rule violations for the different lines of business in the company, and we're trying to see like, why are you violating or why it's not fixed. Right. Anyway, the whole year I was doing the sprints. Before that I used Jira, but it wasn't an agile way. I come from security, threat ops, incident response. So if I was assigned something, it's like, oh, hey, we put this detection in Jira. We want you to go check it out and put your comments down and close it out. That's all it used to be. When they put me, I was in Jira doing all these things. I'm just moving them from every week to week. He was like,
Kanban board.
Yeah, he was like, nah, you gotta close these out and then start some new stuff, some new 2 week sprints. I was like, I wish you would have told me that because I just been doing it the wrong time. Because he was like, yeah, you got to do all these that way. So now when it comes to review time, you say, hey, I did all these different sprints, all these different projects I created. This is what I did. This is what I contributed. I was like, well, y'all didn't explain that. Y'all know my background is different. I brought a whole different mindset to it, but it definitely was not a good fit. So I could see that. So like when I was only there 6 months.
Yeah.
And when I left, my manager was like, I'm not surprised. Because within like 2 or 3 days, I was like, I don't know if this is for me. Like, how long got to stay in this role? Because I was going to try to move around internally. But, HR, hey, you got to stay there for about, a year. I was like, no way, Jose. I ain't doing that. But something I was thinking about.